Hello. Thank you for watching and listening to You Had Options. This episode I have Patty from Dragged In and Brutal Youth on. We talk about Dragged In's new LP, LP1. I really enjoyed listening to it. Really enjoyed talking to Patty. Check out both his bands. Check out Dragged In, their new album on Cursed Blessings Records. Check out Brutal Youth on Stomp Records up in Canada. Got a lot of great bands on both those record labels. Yeah. Dragged_in on Instagram. Brutal Youth 709 on Instagram. Yeah, I really enjoyed talking with Patty. Hope you do enjoy listening to it and watching it. Yeah, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe on whatever platform you listen to the podcast on. Yeah, thank you so much. Patty, thank you for being here. I'm glad
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Have you found yourself doing more podcasts in the age of COVID?
Not enough. I've done a couple, but really need to do more.
Yeah.
We got on Intruder Green's podcast.
Oh, nice.
Which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bruce and I did that. And he just wanted to talk about crime the whole time. We want to talk about a record, or I don't know. We talked about crime, and we talked about how Bruce measures time. So
how does Bruce measure time?
In Black Sabbath records. Yeah,
it's quite the metric, you know.
Yeah.
I guess you tend to measure time in a more traditional sense of minutes. And
yeah, I'm not nearly as same as Bruce.
Yeah.
So I guess he lives about 2 hours away. So he was talking about how driving into Toronto, he knows that it's about 2 playthroughs of, I forget the record at this point, but there's some Black Sabbath record that he listens to all the time. He's like, yeah, it's about 2 playthroughs of that. So
that's fair.
Yeah. And then we just kind of riffed on that for 45 minutes. And crime.
So with Dragged In, your new LP.
Yeah.
It's obviously when did it come out? It came out 2020, but when exactly?
Yeah, recently. Yeah. We only got the physical copies there just before December. So yeah. It's recent.
How is the response?
Last 6 months.
Yeah.
Good, man. Been really good. Yeah, I've been selling a lot at shows. People have just been coming out hand over fist, just constant. No. Yeah. No, the response has been good. There have been no shows to sell records at, but no, it's been good. We've been just hearing from people that they've been enjoying it, that they like listening to it at the gym. Which they're also not doing now. So really just all of the high points are Dragged In. Can't do it anymore.
All the proper venues.
Aside from Bruce driving.
Yeah.
What's that? Aside from Bruce driving and listening to Sabbath, that's it. Nobody's going to gyms to listen to our record. Nobody's coming to shows to buy our record.
Yeah. It's tough, man.
There's a lot of sitting at home, man.
Yeah. Well, I listened through a couple of times in preparation for this podcast, and I really enjoyed it. There's a lot of mixing of styles, in a good way. not in a clash, not clash the band, but not in a way that these styles, clash together.
But they don't work together, yeah.
Right. I was gonna say on the first song, have you ever been in a psychobilly band before, Patty?
Have I been in a psychobilly band?
Yeah.
I play guitar in a like a surf rock kind of band, which like that was during like the heyday of psychobilly, and we've painted our faces like skeletons. So
you got
to.
Yeah. Well, the first song on the LP, Unsinkable, like the core, I don't know if I forgot what part exactly. It reminded me of like a Tiger Army song.
Okay.
Yeah, like I don't know, maybe just
like a riff or like some of the vocals or
like the driving. I don't know. I felt like an upright bass could have gone on this part, and it would have sounded good.
I'll tell Dave.
Okay, yeah, but
to borrow. Sean from Creepshow's a pal, so I'll see if we can borrow his upright bass when we're recording next.
Yeah. Just think about it, man. You don't have to commit right now.
We'll mull it over for sure. I mean, like,
table it if you need to.
Maybe.
Come back around.
We'll before we start recording the next one, I'll send it off to you and see if you have any notes about where psychobilly parts might like fit.
We can shoehorn some psychobilly.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. And I think I'm not a big psychobilly fan. I know the big names, but yeah, that just popped in my brain for some reason. And obviously, like, I know y'all listed Fugazi as one of the influences for this, and I found myself being reminded of Fugazi a whole bunch listening through this album.
Because we said it, or because you actually just felt like it was a fit? Because
I felt like it was a fit.
It's like an old magician trick, right? You just force people to think what you're...
Yeah. Oh, no, like on... what do you see? On Hear Me Out, that was one that hit. I think when you're doing your singing parts, that remind me a lot of Fugazi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Does that make sense? So, this is y'all's first LP.
This is our first LP. We have 2 EPs that we've released in 2016, I think. Yeah, this is the first full length, and this is the first release that's been like with anyone who, like, the other 2 were self-released, and this one somebody actually like was interested enough in putting some money and some effort behind it, which was really cool. Al do you know Trigger Happy? The Almighty Trigger Happy?
I don't.
Okay. Like big band here in Toronto, big Canadian band from the 90s.
Okay.
But yeah, so Al sings in The Almighty Trigger Happy, and he started a record label called Cursed Blessings, and yeah, if you get a chance, check them out. They're excellent.
Yeah. Yeah, so was this just the right time to put out the LP, or
it's a terrible time to do anything.
Right, exactly.
Right now. We started recording in 2018, and we finished it, and like Al had been coming to a lot of shows, and I guess we started talking about putting it out, and this was like before everything happened in 2019, I guess, like in the summer, Al was like, yeah, we want to put it out. We're like, yeah, cool. And we got him all the mixes and stuff. And Jerry Farley, who did a bunch of stuff for like Sick of It All, and he's a pal of Dave's, and we worked with him to mix it. We got all the mixes back, and then COVID happened, and Al had already committed to putting it out, and he still wanted to do it because he's a man of integrity, and so we did. Nice. He's not in the band Integrity, but
Right. He's a man of integrity, right?
Yeah.
Was there any talk of postponing release until after COVID?
We kicked around the idea, but it was already gone to press at that point. We were supposed to do a couple of shows here in Canada with Sick of It All and Agnostic Front, which we were really excited about. And then those sort of fell through because every show in the history of last year fell through.
Right.
So we were no exception. And so we put it out, and it was like, okay, well, bad timing, but it's out, it's ready to go. We've been telling people that it's coming out, so let's honor that and give people something to listen to in their houses and a reason to scream other than being locked up.
Right. Shit. Wow. So you are also in another group called Brutal Youth.
Yes.
I
am. I do. I sing in Brutal Youth as well. Yes.
Right. I asked that in a very weird way. I don't know why I said it that way, but
I might have answered it in a weird way. One of us was being weird.
For sure. The onus is on me. And I saw you guys are recording or getting prepared to record a new full length. Is that right?
That's true. Yeah, we just so all of the instrumentation is done. I'm finishing up the lyrics for one more song, and then we've got to do some like backups and gang vocals and try and convince friends of ours to come in and sing on it. Hopefully we can get some guest vocals or at least some guest gang vocals, and yeah, we're slate. I don't know when it's going to come out. We had hoped that it would be in May because Pouzza Fest is in May.
Right.
So do you know Pouzza Fest?
Yeah, Montreal. Yeah.
Yeah, in Montreal. Yeah, it's like Canada's answer to the Fest.
The Fest, right?
In Florida. So, yeah, or version of, I don't know. Anyway, it's the guys at Stomp Records, who like Stomp is our label here. They're fantastic, and they wanted to put it out in May to just sort of like have it, released around the same time. But Pouzza Fest is not happening this year. I don't believe. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
I don't assume that one, it would be safe, and two, I don't imagine that the pandemic is going to be over by that point. So I'm not sure. The release date for that is kind of hanging, but that's sort of a good thing because I'm not finished writing lyrics yet, and it gives me some time to So but like Matt, do you know the band the Planet Smashers?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So Matt is the singer in the Planet Smashers, and he runs Stomp Records. And he called me and he was like, "Hey, what's going on with the record? Like, we're really excited to hear it." And I was like, "Man, I got 7 songs that are done, and the rest I have no idea what I'm doing." He's like, "Okay, well, like, what if I give you like a deadline?" It's like, we can try that and see if it works, but I don't know. But man, they're so nice and like just super chill. And he was like, "Okay, well, let's like shoot for the end of March, and if we got to push it back, we'll push it back. That's fine. But like, let's try and record it by then, So yeah, I've been really like working and pushing, and Steve Risen at Drive Studios has been doing it, and he's awesome to work with. And it's been like a really frustrating project because I felt like we started it too early. I didn't have lyrics written for anything, but the people who have been a part of the project have just been like awesome, just really supportive.
Yeah.
Like the guys in the band even have been, just like everyone's been like championing the process. And so it's been a real joy through all of my own frustration personally to just like get this thing not only done, but like have something that I'm proud of, right? Which is what's holding everything up. It's just like, that's the bottleneck, is like, are these lyrics good enough? Do I feel good enough about these songs? But yeah, like everyone in the background has been just incredible to have them as part of the project. So it's been cool.
Nice.
So yeah, brutally, it's That's the long answer to your question. The short answer is yes, we have a record coming out.
Are you the type of songwriter that constantly goes back over your lyrics, like when you're writing them?
Yeah. Like I'll sit down and because like my favorite part of an album is, you know, reading through the liner notes and like hearing the lyrics and like interpreting them and so like it's always been important to me to shoot for, like, I'm not on the level of like John K. Sampson from the Weaker Thans is like a huge influence for me, and like Chris Hanna from Propagandhi, and like just the amount of thought that goes into crafting words like that I've always really admired.
Right.
Yeah. So like it's important to me, and also like that I'm nowhere near that caliber, but like I would like to. That's what it's where I want. Like I want to be there.
Right.
That's what I would love to be, in that sort of upper echelon of like lyricists and poets.
Right. I think
that's a long-winded way of saying yes, lyrics are important to me. I'm gonna get a lot of long-winded answers.
Man, I love it. Man, I got, I've said it before. I got nothing but time and hard drive space.
Perfect.
Yeah.
If there's one thing I love, it's chewing up hard drive space.
We're doing it, man. Yeah, I was never super into Propagandhi, but during, not from like, for any reason, I just never really got into them. But during COVID, I started listening to them. What was their last album? Victory Lap.
Yeah.
I was listening to that a whole lot. And just like you said, like the lyrical content is wild. all the instrumentation is wild. It's just like how I realize it's a, four piece. So it's every piece coming together, but it's just insane to me how these four different people can make this one thing, into a crazy mashup.
They're absolutely incredible. Yeah, and like I said, he's in that sort of top tier in terms of like people who can write. There's a lot. I mean, like there are tons of bands who I look up to in terms of like, their lyricism. Like I love MTX, like Mr. T Experience. Dr. Frank.
Dr. Frank. Yeah.
Man, that guy writes the best bridges of like any songwriter. There's not, like, every time I listen to an MTX song or even like his solo stuff, I'm like, man, where does this guy find these bridges?
Yeah. Can I bring up one of my favorite bands to you that also happens to be a Canadian band? And I want to see, hear your thoughts since you brought up Mr. T Experience. Chixdiggit is one of my favorite bands.
Chixdiggit, great. Great band.
Yeah, I don't know where to begin. Let me count the ways that I love Chixdiggit. But are there any bands? 2, 3, 4. Are there any bands?
Oh, I thought you were going to start listing them.
Oh, well, I mean, okay. Here we go. KJ seems like a really nice guy. The singer.
He does seem like a really nice guy.
So many good songs. I Hate Basketball is like one of my favorite songs ever. But I do like basketball.
I like Since You Got a Dog.
Yeah, Since You Got a Dog, Nobody Wants to Hang Around You. Love it.
Yeah.
All the lyrics are so good, and like they're silly, but they're real. And then there's, it's tough to explain. But are there any bands?
I love the way that, like, his delivery. I love the way he sings.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, it's got like this sort of laid back quality about it.
Right.
Yeah. Funny story about Chixdiggit. When I think I was like I'm maybe like 13, 14 years old.
Right.
I grew up in a really small town, really isolated town.
What town?
Yeah, it's called Wabush. It's in Labrador.
Okay.
So like super isolated. It's about 8 hours to anywhere else by like just dirt road. There's nothing around. There's more reindeer than people in the province. Right. So yeah. So anyway, I was on vacation with my family. My dad was a teacher growing up, and my mom also worked in like the school system. So we got summers off every year, and my parents bought like an RV, and so we would travel for 2 months of the year, every year.
Nice.
And we were in St. John, New Brunswick, and Chixdiggit were playing a show, and I was 14 years old, and like I had never been to a concert before because I grew up in a place where like bands didn't come. It was right. You know, it was just like a cultural void, right? And so I was walking by, I was like, oh, Chixdiggit. I had just heard them on like an Honest Don's comp.
All right.
And I was like, oh, I really want to go see this band. I've like they're on a compilation that I just bought, and like they're cool. And so I went to take some money out of my bank account, and I was a kid, so I had no money in my bank account. So I like walked to we were staying at this campground. I walked to this campground. I was like, Mom, Dad, can I have $15 to go to this show? And they're like, no, you're going to get stabbed. Like we're not letting you. So yeah, it was like a big thing where my parents were really scared that I was going to get stabbed at a concert. So I wasn't allowed to go to see Chixdiggit.
Oh,
I was really mad. Well, yeah.
Well, they just heard you're going to a punk show.
That's my chick. Yeah. And then Brutal Youth got to open for KJ. He came through, I don't know, like 7 years ago, doing some solo stuff, and Brutal Youth got to open for him, and it all came full circle, man.
Shit.
And I didn't get stabbed.
Well, that's good. He didn't stab you. That's nice.
Yeah, not once.
Right.
I've never been stabbed at a punk. Like, for all of the stabbing that my parents thought went on at punk shows, I have not been stabbed a single time.
I haven't been stabbed. I haven't seen a stabbing. I think I might.
You're right. I haven't even seen one. You're right.
I think I might have seen a knife one time at a show, and that was like I'd had bad vibes about that show going into it anyway. So.
Yeah, like I've played a lot of shows. I've been to a lot of shows. I've been at festivals. Like, and I've never seen a knife. There's never been like a knife enthusiast's booth or like, yeah, people just trading knives in the back alley behind like. There's never once. For all the stabbing that my parents thought was going to happen, I'm still alive and I've got no holes. I mean, I've got some holes, but they're not from stabbing.
Patty, this is a family podcast. No, did you ever play Streets of Rage on Sega Genesis?
I was a Super Nintendo guy, so no.
Damn. Well, I'll go ahead and just end the podcast here. We're at a cool 23 minutes.
Nice talking to you.
No, there's this game called Streets of Rage that I played as a kid, and there's a stabby guy. It was a side scroller that you were going through the street fighting ne'er-do-wells, and there was a knife guy. Is there a band?
I played a lot of Double Dragon, so I'm familiar enough with Streets of Rage, or at least like as a concept, but I know the side scroll and beat 'em up genre,
right? And
I've definitely encountered some knife wielding ne'er-do-wells in them, just not specifically Streets of Rage,
right? With COVID, has there been any new hobbies that you have picked up, or something you thought you would not have done otherwise?
New hobbies. No, I got a dog.
Hey, you got a dog. Nobody wants to hang around you.
I got a dog.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hang around me now since I got a dog.
It's not you. It's your dog, Patty. I'm telling you.
That's true.
Yeah.
I got a dog, so I go on a lot of walks. I go to the park a lot.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know if walking is a habit, or like a hobby.
Right. Could be.
But yeah, like listening to a lot of podcasts, going to the dog park, playing a lot of video games. I was looking at building a guitar because you can like buy those guitar building kits that are a pretty big deal now.
Yeah.
But I haven't because I don't have a lot of space in this apartment, and I've already got enough guitars, and I feel like it's just going to take up space, and it's not going to sound very good anyway. I'll be like, yeah, I built this thing, but I never play it, and I can't sell it, so it feels like it would be a mistake, you know.
That makes sense. Going back to your writing style,
Sure.
is there a band that or a singer that inspires you that people wouldn't think, like a Lady Gaga, or something that is outside the punk, hardcore, hard rock genre?
In terms of writing, probably not. In terms of like what I listen to, then like I like a lot of like I like the Rat Pack, and like a lot of like like a lot of like 50s rock and roll and like that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't say that it influences my lyrical style per se, because what I like about a lot of that stuff is like it's really simple and catchy, and like it's almost dumb in terms of how like sort of simple, it's just like all like bubblegum and baby and like breaking up is hard to do and stuff like that, but like stuff's all like it's all really polished and really like well written, just in a way that is super simplistic, but no, like none of that is particularly it doesn't change the direction that like I'm trying to write, because Brutal Youth is a lot of sort of, I guess, self-reflection, or just like when I started writing, it was like I want to write about personal experience and have it sort of be like like an open sort of diary, I guess. And then with Dragged In, I was doing a lot of that, so it's like, okay, I'm going to try and do something different, and got into like Bad Brains and like just sort of like hardcore in general, I guess. Like Youth of Today and Gorilla Biscuits and stuff like that. So it's like, I'm going to try and write some of this self-help book style hardcore, which is sort of where the lyrics from Dragged In come from. It's like that idea that like the guys from Bad Brains just like opened a self-help book that their dad had, and wrote songs about it.
Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. Yeah. I was gonna bring up Gorilla Biscuits because I also listened to the latest Brutal Youth album, or the last Brutal Youth album. I was like, man, I hear Gorilla Biscuits in this. I'm not, and admittedly, I'm not a humongous hardcore guy, but I like a couple of them, or I know enough about a couple of them. But yeah,
I'm picky when it comes to hardcore.
Yeah, maybe that's what I mean. Maybe, yeah.
I like hardcore that like is really sort of touched with a lot of punk rock.
Yeah.
When it gets into that sort of like metalish territory, it does less for me.
Right.
But like Gorilla Biscuits, 7 Second, like Sick of It All, I love. But like New York hardcore, a lot of it starts to get to a place that's just like too intense for me. And I'm just kind of like, I'm just a suburban white kid who
it's true.
whose family had an RV and we went on vacation every year. This doesn't.
Can't relate.
I can't relate.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up on the street. I mean, like, this is fucking great. Like, man, I've seen Sick of It All 3 or 4 times live, and I think that they're the best live band of all time. I'm pretty sure I can say that, and it's true. I don't think there's a better. Well, I mean, I've seen Weird Al Yankovic live a bunch of times too, and he might be a close second.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I think Sick of It All take it.
I was gonna say
they're kings on stage.
Yeah, yeah. I used to listen to the Cro-Mags a lot, and so
sure.
I started, however many years ago, I started following their bassist Harley on Instagram, and yeah, just going back to like, man, I cannot relate to this, like the lifestyle, of like, apparently there's a good beef between, well, not good, but there's a beef between him and the original singer with like who is the actual Cro-Mag, stuff like that. But yeah, also I've, like you were saying, I'm like, man, being from suburban Alabama, I cannot relate to this lifestyle.
I grew up in a house where my parents thought I was going to get stabbed at a a music concert, and it's just, I was too protected.
Yeah,
it's that lifestyle is way more aggressive than I can't. I'm not.
Is it too late? Is it too late for you to accept a more aggressive lifestyle?
I don't know. I mean, maybe not. I live in Toronto now, so
yeah.
There were way more stabbings here than there were growing up.
Right.
I'm sure I could run out there and be in the wrong place at the wrong time if I really put my mind to it.
I'm here.
Yeah. Just draw a big bullseye on my chest. But yeah, man, Cro-Mags were that's one of those bands that I totally understand the appeal. I've heard them a bunch. Right. They're very good at what they do.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's in that pocket for me. And it's just like, this is too aggressive. Why is everybody yelling?
Yeah.
And they're really fucking good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was in the the Dragged In video, y'all's most recent video. There's a Death from Above poster in y'all's practice space.
Okay, that probably belongs to someone who's not in Dragged In. But yeah.
Okay.
Continue. What did you want to say about Death from Above?
Well, I was going to be like, I like them a whole lot, and I was going to bring them up.
Yeah, they're from here. They're good. You know what? I'm not super into Death from Above, not because they're not a great band, but just like they don't scratch a particular itch that I have.
Yeah.
When it comes to listening to music, Greg from Brutal Youth fucking loves that band, and so I have heard them peripherally when driving in the car with him.
Right.
And I don't find it unpleasant. So,
That's fair.
Yeah, they're good.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Man.
I you know what? I never spent the time. I'm sure that if I sat down and spent some time listening to their records, I'd be like, oh, this is really, really good. I never did. I never gravitated towards it, so it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know they released a new album, quite a while ago at this point, but whatever their most recent release is, 4 or 5 years ago. And I remember driving to a Brutal Youth practice with Greg, and he was like, let's listen to this. I was like, okay, cool. And it was very good.
Yeah.
So yeah, but they're local boys around here.
Yeah.
Around Toronto. I think actually, I think they have a practice space up near where ours is, or maybe it's in the same building. And that's as close to DFA as I'll ever get.
Yeah.
So being in possibly the same four walls.
Hell yeah. What the Toronto music scene, is that it's got to be huge, right?
Yes, it's huge and it's fractured. Like there's a lot of really great bands and there's a lot of really great scenes, and they're all like weird pockets, and like there's kind of no mixing of the tribes, and it's strange. And but like if you come here and you're not from the city, it's awesome because there's so much to do. And if you are from the city, it's weird and ostracizing. At least it has been for me. I can't speak to everyone's experience, but that has been mine. It's just like there are just these pockets of people, and it's really difficult to bridge those gaps.
Yeah.
And there are bands that can do it. We are just, for whatever reason, not in that camp.
Yeah. Is you've toured all over the world, right?
At least some of the world.
Some of the, Europe and
I've seen Europe, and I've seen the North Americas. That's about it.
Is there a place where you're just like in awe from tour, like being there?
Yeah, every time we have been in Prague, it's just been like in the Czech Republic, like it's beautiful. Like we played a show there at a cafe, like it's a cafe in the middle of this park, and I played there on my 30th birthday. I had just had knee surgery, and we were in Europe, and like I had just had my ACL repaired. And like 100 people or 150 people crammed into this tiny little cafe in the middle of this park that apparently they have shows at all the time. And like they were crowd surfing me, and they were crowd surfing other people, and people were like running up against the ceiling. And so the next day we went in, they fed us breakfast, and we were just looking at the ceiling. We were like all these shoe prints all over. And we played with this band that night, and I can't remember for the life. I wish that I remembered their name, but I don't. I think they were Serbian. I don't remember. Anyway, what I do remember is the guy came up. They were big mohawks and like ripped shirts and
punk rock,
super tight pants. Everything was black and like chains, and the guy came up to me and he was like, is it okay? We didn't set any house rules. Is it all right to swear on your podcast, or is that something you frown on?
Go, let it rip.
Oh, Daddy. I can let the motherfuckers rip. Cool. He came up to me and he was like, when I first saw you guys, I thought you were a bunch of motherfuckers. But then I saw your band play, and I thought, oh, these are not motherfuckers at all. You're not motherfuckers to me anymore. I was like, okay, cool. Thanks, man. Like, no idea what to say to that. Right. I guess because we didn't have, funny hair or weird pants or whatever. Because I was 30 at the time, and I just I don't have that kind of pants money to throw around anymore. Those pants are expensive, man. Like, I used to have zebra print pants and pink plaid pants, and like, it's a lot of money. It was fine when I was living with my parents, and
disposable income. I had
plenty of suburban boy disposable income, so I could spend it on funny pants.
Right.
My dad used to call them my party pants, so I had lots of party pants money, but started going on tour with bands and like paying my own rent, and it became more expensive to have funny pants. So.
Yeah, funny pants got X'd from the.
Yeah, absolutely. And like hair product and shit. It's just like, Also, I'm almost no maintenance. Like I'm pretty low maintenance, but I'm almost no maintenance. So yeah, like just this just seems like a lot of work.
Right. Wow. Man.
It doesn't even seem like I know it's a lot of work because I used to have that. Like when I was in my 20s, like, fucking mohawks and weird clothes, and it is a lot of work. It doesn't seem like I know it's a lot of work. I know what those guys were going through.
So
anyway, they told us we weren't motherfuckers, and that was really nice of them.
You passed the test.
It's just, it's nice to be seen. It just feels good when someone's like, hey, I just want you to know that you're not a motherfucker. Like, thank you.
You were, Patty, you guys were this close to be a motherfucker.
Yeah. We were close. And then he saw us play our music and he was like, this is not the music of motherfuckers.
I've heard that music before, and this is not it.
Yeah. I know what motherfuckers sound like, and these guys, they're not it.
Mm-mm. Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, your question was, is there a place I really liked? And it was Prague. I like Prague a lot.
Man. Wow. Yeah. We're coming up on 45 minutes here.
What? Really?
Patty? Yeah.
It feels like it's only been 2.5 hours.
You can, I want you to stay on. But do you have any like parting words of wisdom or anything you just want to say, get off your chest?
I mean, based on that, I think "Don't be a motherfucker" is a good one. So,
yes,
those aren't even my words necessarily. Like, that guy kind of came up with it.
Shout out.
Really, like, if we're giving credit where credit's due, it's the guy in the band who I think are from Serbia but can't remember and don't know the name of, that I played with at Cafe Napolcetsi in Prague whenever the fuck we played there. So you might be able to find it, at least, if you want to look up archival posters that they might have. Probably not. They probably don't have them online. Brutal Youth is a big deal to me, but like, I don't know about in the general scheme of things, if people would be like, oh yeah, no, we've got to archive that poster. This is important.
Got a big filing cabinet. Wow.
Anyway, don't be a motherfucker.
Love it.
Seems like good advice.
Patty, stay on. But I've got an ending where it's you had options, but you decided to talk to me tonight, and I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, it was great. I was before I was talking to you, I was watching Kitchen Nightmares, so this is at least more productive.
Hell yeah! Well, thank you, Patty.